I know what you're thinking right now. There's not enough Colin Cowherd in my life. I hear it every day from my family. Listen, if you want more, subscribe. All right, Matt Mosley, my buddy, Doomsday Podcast forever, longtime Cowboy writer for ESPN and now Fox Sports. He watched the Cowboys game in Paris, which is a first. So it sounds remarkably clear because we did a brief test before you came on. Why are you in Paris?
Well, we had, Colin, what are you having tonight, by the way? It looked like a Shasta or something.
It was just a club soda, very boring.
Yeah, it's not as fun as usual. Before the pandemic, like right when it was hitting, that March when we were sort of understanding and accepting this was about a year and a half or so ago, we were within days of leaving on this long planned trip with my in-laws and my daughter and wife. And this was when it got rescheduled. And I didn't have a lot of say in it. Probably a week in which the Cowboys play two games like in 5 or 6 days. Not the greatest timing, but Paris is beautiful any time of the year. Colin and a lot of NFL fans over here. So it's worked out. It's worked out nicely for me. I've had a lot of help here at the hotel. I'm in the shadows of the Eiffel Tower as we speak. And Mo, the night manager, has been just incredible and has helped put me in. He got me on a laptop watching the game. And then at one point he actually had me on his phone, but I was able to watch the whole thing. And what a pitiful performance it was by the Cowboys.
You didn't have Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence, Amari Cooper, Tyron Smith, CeeDee Lamb got hurt after the first half. I'm not trying to create excuses, but you watch Chris Jones dismantle the offensive line, and I think to myself, well, if the Cowboys have DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory, Patrick Mahomes, who didn't have a great day, he's probably under the same duress Dak is. To me, the game was Chris Jones wrecked the Cowboys front. That was the game to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a monster, and since he's been able to sort of move inside, I thought the interior of the Cowboys offensive line, I mean, Colin, when do you see Zach Martin give up a sack? It happens like maybe once a year. It happened in this game. He did. He had a great, every few years, one player almost makes a career against the Cowboys. Now, this is a good player, so I don't want to act like this is like his coming out party, but he did. You're right. He took over. But I guess the part I'm not ready to dismiss because of injuries is this quarterback who we've all celebrated. And I wrote a whole column on Fox Sports about, oh my gosh, what a measuring stick game against the great Mahomes. Mahomes has all the skins on the wall. Mahomes didn't need this. Mahomes has already accomplished pretty much everything, and he's kind of got it rolling again. This was a great opportunity for Dak. And while we can blame some of the issue on the offensive line, he wasn't sharp. And he was missing on throws. And even when he hit throws, like Cedric Wilson would have to go to the ground to make a play down there. And when they got anywhere near the goal line or in the red zone, they couldn't function. So I thought the quarterback played poorly here.
Yeah, I mean, I always said this. There are guys in this league, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Dak. When you pressure them, Jared Goff significantly, when you pressure them, they dip far more than Mahomes pressured or Rodgers pressured or Kyler Murray pressured. And, I thought when Dak can't set his feet, he's just not a beautiful arm talent. Is that fair?
I think that is fair. I just love hearing you describe beautiful arm talent. I mean, I'm getting ready to go to Louvre tomorrow, and it makes me think of that. Some of the things I'll see. I do think he needs to get set. I think it's unfair, probably, and not a great comparison for him when we try to go, okay, let's look at him next to Mahomes, because the guy makes a living off those sort of off schedule and off balance throws. And I think you're right to say that Dak needs to be in a rhythm and have sort of everything under him in his pace. That doesn't mean on the run he can't make some nice throws, but I think what's weird about Dak, and he needs to get to this point. If he's in a poor rhythm, which he was in the first half, you sort of expect he's a good enough player. We think of him maybe as a top 5 type quarterback that he's going to some point get you. He's going to get going, and he really didn't. And late in that game, he was still he made a few throws late. But late in that game, I was looking and he had thrown for like 136 yards. Um, you know, I, that's like a Jalen Hurts performance. And I know that's unfair because Jalen's actually playing fairly well. But like today, the Eagles won. And I noticed Jalen Hurts had about 140 yards. He played fine. But the Eagles won for a lot of different reasons. They ran the ball, the defense, all that kind of thing. Dak needs to be better than that. Okay, if we are going to judge him as an elite player, I just don't think he can keep having. I mean, this is 2 of these performances in the past 3 weeks. So I don't know if we want to blame it on some kind of lingering injury issue. His base isn't right. I'm not sure. I'm just saying I have a tendency when he plays like this to not immediately go, well, he just didn't have Amari or CD got hurt. I just don't think he was right today, even before CD suffered that probable concussion.
Well, I watched the last 2 weeks. I've seen Brady struggle, Dak struggle, Baker struggle, Josh Allen struggle, Russell Wilson struggle. I look around this league. I mean, the Bears couldn't move it. Derek Carr and the Raiders couldn't move it. I got to tell you, it is really rare to get like 14 out of 17 weeks good quarterback play. You know who I've watched the last 2 weeks who's really comfortable is Kirk Cousins. He's been terrific. It's I think what's happening in the last 2 to 3 weeks, you're seeing more injuries on the offensive front, more injuries at wide receiver, and so you're asking Dak with backup left tackles and backup receivers to go into Arrowhead. I mean, I don't think he could hear much anytime they got near the goal line. So not that I'm giving Dak a pass, but if somebody asked me to describe this Sunday, it was bad quarterback play. Tannehill was bad. It's funny. I watched Jalen Hurts. Colt McCoy, all things considered, was fairly nimble. So I don't disagree with you with Dak, but I think the injuries are mounting up. We're now mid-November, and you got a lot of backups playing. Yeah. And that's kind of what I saw around the league today. A lot of backups playing, and there's a reason they're backups. I mean, the discouraging thing to me with Dallas is when Tyron Smith is hurt, it is not the same offense. That is totally clear. And the second thing is the clock mismanagement, again by McCarthy, is just egregiously poor. God, and you know what? Like the Packers have their problems. Crosby now is washed. He can't kick field goals. Brady is inconsistent. Really needs AB and Gronk. So every good team's got an issue. The Rams right now, let's be honest, it's Cooper Kupp, and then you're praying brittle OBJ is healthy. All the good teams in the NFC and AFC, I mean, the Bills can't run the football. Can't run it. The Chiefs don't run the football. But I look at the Cowboys. The only thing that really troubles me is close games and McCarthy.
Yeah. Just the head coach. What have we hit? The head coach, the quarterback. I hope the psyche of this team can overcome Hilaire, pointing at them. I just hope they're able to overcome. Did you see the taunting? Golly,
yes.
This league right now. A guy just had a playful taunt or point now, is egregious. And we're worried about the youth of America seeing young Clyde go into the end zone. And that was a great little option. By the way, I just think today, there's a couple of things that you just said that were interesting to me. One was that I think should be the headline for this podcast is Colt McCoy was fairly nimble. I like that. And I also like
he was
what this league has done to us is it makes people covet Kirk Cousins. We spend the majority of the year saying, God, can you believe they pay him what they pay him? Every year it's like, get rid of this guy. and then he'll go on a stretch. You're totally right. They're 5-5 now. They beat the Packers. The Vikings fans are going crazy, and we dismissed them like 3 weeks ago, didn't we? I mean, I think you and I were together after the Cowboys beat the Vikings, and that was a big win because they had a backup quarterback.
You know what? The way I look at the Cowboys after this game, very little at the league is at the bottom. Detroit is really bad. Very little is at the top. This is why we're getting all these upsets. Everybody's within 4 points of each other. I mean, Jacksonville and Detroit are kind of over their skis in personnel. I think the best teams in the league, I think Kansas City now is back to being one of the best teams. But I think when I look at Dallas, I don't think Dallas or any of these teams. I mean, good God, Gronk and AB are out, and the Buccaneers are lost offensively. I just think this, Matt, I don't think Dallas or any of these teams are good enough to miss 2 receivers, a left tackle, and the quarterback's running for his life. I don't think anybody in this league is good enough to win that way.
Although they did it without the quarterback on the road in an incredibly tough environment against the Vikings. I mean, I think the Cowboys, depth-wise, that's been one of our big things we keep coming back to. Now, part of it's on defense. And you said DeMarcus Lawrence, they haven't had him since the first week. He's been out forever. Gregory's out for a little while right now. They still are functional. I mean, you hold the Chiefs to 19 points, you should win.
And win the game. And they were healthier. To me, my takeaway was, God, if Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence come back here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, this team can play with anybody. I really believe that.
And Parsons can mess you up. I mean, he's tremendous. His closing speed, you saw what he did on the strip sack. I think that my biggest takeaway, Colin, is I think this O-line, and I think that's McCarthy's biggest worry. I think he thought he had gotten them to the point where they could continue to function on the road or wherever when they are compromised. And you have a starter at right tackle in Lyle Collins, and they thought they were going to be covered over there on the left side. And then their interior of the line, I thought just was a mess. They haven't really particularly loved the way Connor Williams. I only bring these guys up because you're really good at actually knowing all these different offensive lines. And Connor Williams is someone who is just never been able to really bulk up. And he's an athletic guy. He's fine. But a guy like Jones or some heavy dudes can just run over him. So they've had a little bit of an issue lately because they kind of think, well, should we just bench that guy, and have McGovern in there? Is McGovern the guy? They've been using McGovern. You see, they put him in all these different little formations and all. So I think the scary part for the Cowboys is just this mess of an O-line. And I agree on the defense. They're going to get some guys back eventually, and that thing could get close to elite. I'm starting to hear with Tyron Smith some of the same things over the years we say against some of these NBA players. Oh, he'll be back. He'll be back. And they never really are. I mean, like we pencil in Kristaps Porzingis. I'm using my Dallas connections as an example for 30 games to miss every year. They're going to miss 20 to 30 games. If he gives you more than that, it's huge. I think we're there with Tyron Smith.
Yes.
Where he's he's going to miss 6 or 7 games every year. He's really good. But I think for us to say, okay, this team is fine and they can be great with Tyron Smith, it's just rare that he's going to get you through a season anymore. So they're to the point where they need to start thinking about a long-term replacement for him. That can't happen this season, but it'll have to happen in the offseason perhaps.
I'm going to let you go back and have some champagne, live the sophisticated lifestyle, which you are so prone to do. I'm going to go and have a Bud Light and smoke a cigar and watch Chargers Steelers. That's my life.
Every time I think of you, I think of the hard scrabble life that you live. And I've got some Nutella. They love their Nutella here, although we like that too. And then this is look at this. This is a Madeleine. This is a pastry. Where is it? Am I getting? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Oh, that looks delicious. Very nice.
Very nice. Oui, 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 oui.